You know, this is how bipartisan politics are. I'm trying to find some numbers. Just trying to find some numbers. How much per mile to make the light rail transit systems? All I want to know. And I'm looking for them, and light rail is slamming the monorail. Why? Well, the monorail has a low ridership. The monorail has a limited regional zone, a little 2 mile or 1.2 miles. That's it. And they wanted you to know, depending on if you were reading the spin doctors at 107 million per mile or the engineers at 124 per mile, it still wasn't a good deal because there was a $1.5 billion cap on the budget of the whole thing. So it wasn't a good deal. You see, with them, with light rail, there's no budget cap. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so let's look at what you did, Mr. Obama. President Obama. I'm sorry, my daughter would correct me every time. That's President Obama. To me, your brother Barack. And I want you to understand that. Brother Barack, you're being dogged, man. You're being dogged. Check this out. Light rail transit. Here's the reality from the people, from the hood. Rainier Vista, the Boys and Girls Club in South Seattle. Let's go ahead and speed this up. Limited destinations. That thing is going boom, 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 boom. It might head out to the airport. Not that everybody in the valley or in the hood goes to the airport. And most people that go to the airport sure as hell don't want to go through the hood. Okay, you know? It has very limited destinations. Handicap parking. It brags about all this parking. But what about the handicapped people? They had a bunch of handicapped people up there. The blind guy said, you know, you're so busy trying to keep up with the budget that you can't make, that you can't even prune the trees or keep the sidewalks clean, and he's tripping, hitting his head on branches and everything else. The blind guy was pretty good. He was also talking about the east-west versus north-south grids and how you're very lacking in destination. The little old lady was talking, and the blind guy and the little old lady were both complaining about the curbs being way too high. Stops. They don't go to the airport, they go downtown. And they go downtown a lot more frequently. These things stop in the middle of the street. They don't stop in front of the stores on the sidewalk like they used to. No, they stop in the middle of the street. And they're ugly. But that's not what they said. That's what I'm telling you, man. They're ugly as can be. They're not within safe access. These people have to go through the dark, through the weather, through whatever, in the middle of winter. You're talking about old people on Social Security, disabled old grandmas and stuff, sitting up there carrying their oxygen hanging out their nose, walking with their walker a mile to the next bus stop. Ain't no bus stop, it's a transit stop now, and the thing is barely protected from weather or anything else. And you know what? A brother really hit this on the head, Brother Barack. You know what he said? You did not hire from the hood. He said there were less than 20 brothers in that entire project. People of the state of Washington, I want you to be very clear of this. You know, as the brother said, I understand how, you know, construction works and everything. Ms. Gregoire, our governor, has been outsourcing for a long time. If you were to look at her campaign contributions, you know who was contributing to her campaign? The architects behind the Big Dig from Boston to help build our tunnel. She's got so much out-of-state money coming in sick. You wonder how a homemaker from the Midwest would be able to find a way to afford Christine Gregoire $1,600. But believe it or not, in her over 60,000 contributions, there's a whole bunch of those kind of contributions, a whole bunch of them. And where is Secretary of State Reid to bust her butt for these illegal contributions? Nowhere. Nowhere. There's no indictments. There's no nothing. You're leaving the brothers in the hood, the old ladies in the hood. You're not taking care of your people, President Obama. President Obama, they put you in the office. I know. You say, well, no, they didn't. The bankers put me in here. The media put me in here. That's for damn sure. You're better than that, man. You're better than that. And you're supposed to be a law professor? You're supposed to be a law professor? Where did you learn to count? Check this stuff out. Watch this stuff as we keep on going. Once again, they're complaining about the reduced transit area. They're being forced to walk miles. And for the old transit, what you've done, this is an example here in Washington State. This is what you're proposing. You got these Washington State people around you like Ron Sims. I got news for you. The people up here don't like Ron Sims. I got news for you. The people didn't like Governor Gary. He got in by running against Ellen Craswell. you know, and he got out as quick as he could too. There's a whole bunch of people that don't necessarily like these people you're surrounded by. So anyway, what they're saying is look, down here at this light rail that Mayor Nichols forced down our throats, you've cut out the bus service for like the number 7, and I guess the number 8 became a new bus. It wasn't there in my day. Number 42 out there was in my day. You cut it off, forcing them to get on this transit. And 5, this new light rail is way too expensive. The rides are fewer, they're far in between, way more expensive, not as convenient, not even as safe. And you don't even give these people a transfer to hop on another bus. By God, Washington State's metro, the Seattle Greater King County area metro system went from being the best system in the United States of America to not even handing out a transfer like they do in Mississippi. We got to charge them more. And they applaud Nichols in the media for this kind of mess. Okay. From the union. This is the union showed up and complained about your light rail. The tax situation is unsustainable. Can't be done. Eventually it's going to collapse on you. You need stable funding now. And you can't raise the rates anymore. Back to the concerns. It's already way too expensive. So, one of the suggestions came up from this gentleman who reminds me of you, President Obama, except a little wider like Eddie Murphy inside, distinguished gentleman. He felt, this is the brother from the hood now, who was definitely not from the hood, he felt that we should increase the property taxes. He felt, in order to make this light rail run, that the properties would now be worth more because the light rail, which everybody hates, is running through their neighborhood. So if we just increase the property taxes, we can help pay for it a little bit quicker. You gotta love that one. Oh, and selling ads to people who benefit, or entities that benefit from the Seattle investment in the light rail. In this case, it was the airport in particular. The airport should have to pay for advertising on light rail, and that's going to save light rail. You gotta love that. What the story, what we're about to address, goes on about is basically, if it took them 10 years to get everything up and running, it's still going to take them at least another 10 years just to force people onto light rail by cutting out the other rides on current bus systems and forcing them on it. And a major reason is that, one, that people hate it. Way too expensive, way inconvenient, unsafe. They can give you a whole bunch of reasons. And granted, sir, you can overcome some of these objections. You can overcome a lot of them, but you can't overcome that cost.